All right, let's dive right into this. Today's explainer is, well, it's highly unusual. We aren't actually going to be looking at historical artifacts. Instead, we're dissecting the anatomy of a literal content blueprint meant to present them. Normally, we unpack dense articles or massive data sets to get to the core of a topic, but today we're doing something totally different. We're putting a magnifying glass on the genesis of an idea. We're looking at the foundational planning of an explainer, just like this one.
So unsolved enigmas. This phrase right here, it immediately grabs your attention. It's the absolute perfect hook before we reveal the really fascinating meta-document we're analyzing today. I mean, it evokes mystery, right? Ancient secrets, things completely unexplained by modern science. It perfectly primes the mind for a journey into the unknown, which is exactly what a smart creator wants to do before dropping their core info.
Now, here's where it gets wild. What's really interesting is the sheer brevity of our source material. We literally just have a title, an opinion, and a structural parameter to decode. Honestly, this single sentence is the entire source document. It's a bilingual note from a creator to themselves. It starts with the English title, 10 bizarre historical artifacts historians still can't explain, and then bam, it's immediately followed by a Bengali validation that translates to, is a great title. For this, an 8-10 minute video structure, and it just ends right there at the colon. Actually, scratch that. It doesn't just end, it halts. One single, brilliant sentence. That's the whole shebang.
Moving right along to Section 1, the video blueprint concept.
Because the actual artifacts are completely absent from the source text, we've got to treat the concept of this structural guide as our central subject. Think about it. A blueprint is basically the DNA of any content. Before the lights flip on, before the graphics are even rendered, a creator has to sit down and map out the journey. By examining this tiny fragment, we're getting a super rare behind-the-scenes look at the raw ideation phase. We're literally seeing the exact moment a concept crystallizes into a plan. It just goes to show that great explanations don't just happen out of nowhere, they are meticulously engineered.
Which brings us to Section 2, analyzing the perfect title.
Okay, so the crucial point of this blueprint kicks off with an incredibly click-worthy English hook engineered to capture your curiosity right out of the gate. And notice how it specifically leverages the number 10. This brilliantly illustrates how quantifiable lists promise you, the viewer, a structured, really satisfying journey through the unknown. I mean, why 10, right? Well, because we humans absolutely love order. A top 10 list takes the utter chaos of history and wrangles it into a neat, predictable little framework. It tells the audience exactly what they're going to get, a finite, easily digestible package. It's like an unwritten contract that says, hey, give me a few minutes of your time and I'll give you exactly 10 fascinating mysteries. No more, no less.
In this bilingual contrast we're seeing, it's an absolute masterclass in cross-cultural content creation. The English text is casting this massive net for maximum global reach, while the creator's internal Bengali commentary validates its strength. They're essentially patting themselves on the back for a job well done. The creator clearly knows the mechanics of a good hook, and they're just documenting their own successful brainstorm right there in their native analytical mindset.
All right, let's hit Section 3, the proposed video format.
So the creator explicitly mandates an 8 to 10 minute video structure. This directly dictates a fast-paced, super-focused breakdown of those 10 bizarre artifacts. Just think about the math on this for a second. To cover 10 distinct historical mysteries in 8 to 10 minutes, that means dedicating roughly 45 to 60 seconds per artifact, right? There is absolutely zero room for fluff or drawn-out tangents here. It requires a rapid-fire, highly engaging delivery designed to keep the viewer hooked from the very first second to the absolute last, really capitalizing on that sweet spot for audience retention. It's wild, because even in just a single sentence of source text, we're observing this fascinating 3-stage micro-narrative of content planning happening in real time. Step 1, the hook is formulated to grab attention. Step 2, that hook is internally validated by the creator as a rock-solid concept. And Step 3, the practical runtime parameters are locked in. It is a remarkably efficient glimpse into the architecture of modern digital storytelling. It really shows us that every single element is calculated for maximum impact.
And that leads us to Section 4, an unsolved enigma itself.
Now, here is where our structural analysis hits a brilliant, kind of ironic wall. We really have to acknowledge that the source document cuts off exactly at the colon, right where the promised video structure was actually supposed to begin. That colon is basically the edge of a cliff. We were promised the underlying architecture of an 8 to 10 minute explainer, but the text just simply ceases to exist. What were those 10 artifacts? Well, we simply don't know.
Because the list of artifacts and the timing breakdown are entirely missing from our source, the blueprint itself ironically becomes the ultimate unsolved enigma. It leaves us to just wonder how the creator actually planned to execute those 8 to 10 minutes. We started off by examining a plan to explain the unexplained, only to find that the plan itself is the mystery. It's a fantastic paradox, isn't it? So as we wrap up this unique deconstruction, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. In a world that is absolutely obsessed with uncovering the ancient secrets of our past, isn't it fascinating that today's most captivating mystery is simply what was supposed to come after that colon?